Already we've had a hatful of upsets, including the demise of the reigning UK champion Ding Junhui, the reigning world champion Ronnie O'Sullivan, and 5 other members of the top 16. The bottom half of the draw in particular has opened up significantly. But these 2 players are in the top half. Jack Jones and one of the greats, 3 times UK champion John Higgins. And it's good afternoon to a former world champion, Joe Johnson.
Good afternoon, Philip. Good afternoon, everybody. Yep, it's not looking good for Jack Jones, but every match is different, and he'll take some consolation from all those players, the top players that are going out. Oh, he's had a bit of luck there straight away, John Higgins. Yeah, he'll take some good feeling from seeing all those top players going out. If they can do it, why can't I? But he's got to attack the balls for me. He's got to take the games to John Higgins. Let him know that he's not afraid. Yep, he's a great safety player, Higgins. Make no mistake about that. Probably one of the best ever. But if he can do it scoring, he's such a great scorer as well, with over 800 century breaks, 11 maximums. Incredible scoring.
Yes, the stats are pretty eye-watering when it comes to Higgins. And of course, they met very recently at the English Open this season, when Higgins was a resounding 5-1 winner. But that was a quarter-final, so Jack Jones made his first last state appearance in a ranking event this season. Higgins has seen off Fergal O'Brien and Gerard Green for the loss of just 4 frames combined. Jack Jones, of course, got a bye in the first round with Ryan Day having to withdraw in the light of the COVID situation, and he then saw off Simon Lichtenberg by 6 frames to 2. But he is one of the most improved players. He's been on and off the tour a few times. Got back on most recently a couple of years ago, and that quarter-final appearance, as I mentioned, at the English Open, when he beat a number of good players, the likes of Elliot Slesser, who's just knocked out Sean Murphy, Jack Lazowski, and Matthew Stevens, shows he's able to mix it with the very best.
Yeah, good opening red, that. Cut back into a blind pocket. So, John Higgins not getting away with that one. Leaves a chance for Jack. Just 3 reds to go out, 3 open reds. Possibly 4. The one at the back of the pack.
5.
There you go. And at some stage, that would be a good red to play for. You could open the reds up. If he plays for that red, the one directly above the black spot. If he comes a little bit too far, he's on the one below it. Well, nothing wrong with playing for this red, except to say it was a good chance to try and leave an angle on one of those 2 reds.
11.
To open the reds up, stay on the black.
Aside from that run to the last 8 of the English Open, Jones also knocked out Kyron Wilson from the German Masters, which we hope will take place at the Templedrum in Berlin in the new year. So that was another significant scalp. He is one of the more pedestrian players. There's no getting away from it. His average shot time this season is over 30 seconds, which puts him in the bottom 3. But he is a very effective match player, and he's getting better all the time.
20.
Winner of this will play the Chang Bing-yu, who knocks Mark Allen out, one of our upsets in this tournament, or Zhou Yulong, European Masters finalist from earlier in the year. Dasislava Bosilova, our referee for this one. We always talk, Joe, don't we, in these matches where there's a clear underdog, which Jones obviously is, the importance of a good start, just to build some confidence.
Yeah, absolutely, Philip. I mean, without a good start, it's going to be very difficult for him, and he's got a chance here. And that was a nice shot he played there. That took some judgment. You know, it looks easy on TV, but you had to get the right amount of stunning the cue ball to get that shot like he did. So easy to have left the cue ball in the middle of the cluster there. But it was an attacking shot. He didn't just drop it in. He tried to develop reds, which he's done. He's got another 4 reds that I can see.
$35. 36.
I like the shot he's just played there. He's played for this red to the right corner, but if he hasn't come far enough, he's got the red to the left corner. There's a good red to play for as well.
44.
Now, he could go into that red next to the pink. He'd have choice of 2 reds to the left corner, and he'd develop another one. He doesn't need to. Just saying that's what he could do. Hasn't quite come far enough for this red, so he may have to go down for the blue unless he takes the one to the corner. Always the case, isn't it? Wrong side of the blue. I think sometimes, if you're one of the lower ranked players, it's probably best to play for one of the bought colours, because you're guaranteed to be on the colour to come back to the reds then. Oh, lots of right hand side on the cue ball, and that was an excellent shot. Now if that red just below the pink, the second red down below the pink, goes to the left corner at some stage, that's all you'd need with a colour. And just about got there. Now, having a look at that red, it's tight, but I think he can get there. If not, then it is possible to go into them. Lots of top spin and right hand side on the cue ball. Well, he thinks he can get it, and this is all he'll need with the black to follow. And this is a great start for Jack. Can he get it? Actually, it doesn't look like it from there, but he thinks he can. That's what he's played for. No, caught the other red first. Well, he did all the hard work, but I don't know. He must have gone because he played for it. But when it came up on the camera, it didn't look as though it would go.
And when you're 60 odd in front with enough points for your opponent to still win the frame, the last person you want to see walking to the table is John Higgins, because he is the past master at clearing up in situations like this.
Yeah.
One.
Well said. There's nobody better, is there? Doesn't do it every time, but like Philip says, he's the last person that you want. He's underhit it. Now, does the pink go to the left middle? Because he could play a little cannon to the red. Stay on the pink. Didn't fancy that. Or maybe the pink didn't go. Needs a bit of luck. Unless it's a plant, it didn't get any.
Got a close-up look there at Higgins' titanium ferrule, which he feels has greatly improved his game. Certainly seems to be enjoying his snooker again, Higgins, after periods in the last couple of seasons when I think he's fallen out of love with the game. Of course, he made 3 world finals in a row without managing to win one, which must have taken it out of him.
Yeah, good recovery. Yeah, anybody else, 3 finals in a row, they'd be delighted. But not John Higgins. Looking to win at least 1, maybe 2 of them.
Well, he hasn't actually won a ranking event since the 2018 Welsh Open, so we're getting on for the best part of 3 years now. He's been very consistent since then. A couple of major semi-finals last season. Ran into Judd Trump, which is the toughest ask in snooker right now on those occasions, but he's been knocking on the door. And of course, he's a 3-time champion of this great event.
Now important to stay high on the black here. Yes, he took that red on in the middle of the cluster, but
29.
as I say, from the camera angle, it didn't look as though he could pot it. But he stood right behind the shot, so I believe he would have been able to get it.
And that look on his face just there, Joe, told you, even though
30.
there were still 2 reds on the table before Higgins potted that one, he's expecting Higgins to clear here. He's got no doubt that he'll go on and clear.
Yeah, I think we're in the same frame of mind as well, aren't we, Phil?
Well, he's done it so often, as we've said, in the biggest matches. That miraculous clearance against O'Sullivan in the final of the Masters when he was so far behind. The deciding frame, cleared up to win.
37.
Did it against Mark Williams in the last session of their magnificent World Final, and countless other times.
Yeah, but the nerves are not as sharp as what they used to be when he was in his 20s and 30s. Still does it, and full credit to him.
And he knows that this would be a big blow to strike early. Jones was cueing so nicely in that break. It was immaculate up until he missed the red. But it looks as though it's going to come to nothing for him.
47.
Needs them all. Has that same beautiful cue action. Plays the same way every time. Queuing up at the ball. Comes back, pauses. Delivers.
54.
Beautiful.
What a clean frame of snooker. An early error from Higgins. Jack Jones looked as though he was punishing him with a frame-winning break. Missed the all-important red on 63. And Higgins has done what Higgins does, arguably better than anyone else. Cleared up from a long way behind to pinch it. If this black goes in. Typically clinical stuff from the 3 times UK champion. That has got to hurt Jack Jones. An early blow for him. How is he going to respond as Higgins mops up from 63 behind to win on the black for a 1-0 lead? So Higgins strikes first, and it was the manner in which he did it, that superb 72 clearance from 63 behind, which will hurt Jones, who seems set to take the opening frame, having made a very good break himself of 63. And now his task is to forget about it. Much easier said than done.
Yeah, yes, dead right, Philip. That's his task. If I pop that red, I'm 1 frame up.
And having cued so well in that break.
Couldn't fault him.
Four other matches ongoing, of course, in this afternoon's session. Barry Hawkins has the first frame against Rob Milkins.
Well, he was a long way off that one. A long way. But it doesn't look as though he's left anything easy. The red next to the blue will pass the green, and it's got to be worth a punt. Play the cue ball near the middle pocket just in case. An easy blue to get down to the reds if it goes in. Good pot. Good pot, but I thought he could have held for the blue. think he played it with some safety in mind in case he missed it. This has got to be nearly touching to be any good.
Jack Jones 1.
Not close enough.
Higgins' first year UK title came back in 1998, beat Matthew Stevens. Had to wait 12 years for his second, beg your pardon, 2 years for his second, and then a further 10 years for his third. Both of those victories over Mark Williams. The second of those, the most dramatic. He was 4 down with 5 to play in the final, and then 2 down with 3 to play, needed a snooker, got it, and won in the decider. So 10 years between his second and third UK crowns. We're 10 years on from number 3. Is that a happy omen for Higgins? If he could win this tournament, Joe, in 2000, 2010 and 2020, that would underline his longevity, wouldn't it?
Well, he doesn't need to prove anything regarding that. This is going nowhere, so unless it's a touching ball. Oh. Unless it's a touching ball, then maybe they could ask for a re-rack. One player looks at the other. The referee could even suggest it.
Yeah, Desislava Bosilova keeping an eye on things, and I'm sure if this does carry on for any longer, she'll invite the players to try and break the deadlock in a certain number of shots, but looks as though things might change here. Judd Trump has the first frame against Liang Wenbo.
Just caught it a little too thick. Just reaching the balk line, which means the return safety a little bit easier. May even be a pot on there to the right corner. That's the one. And there it goes. And that little flick on the yellow has left him nicely on the blue. He could have finished behind the green there without that little flick. Not saying he would have, but little rubs like that can make the difference. Played a really good frame in the last one, and it was just that one ball. Looks good. And if he can get to the black, doesn't need to play for the black, he could play for the blue. The problem with playing for the black is he's going to be high on the black. And those reds below the black come into play. Well, lots of left-hand side on the cue ball. And that's made things a lot easier.
He's made 12 centuries so far this season, John Higgins, including the 11th maximum of his career in the Championship League. Of course, he made his first ever Crucible maximum back in the summer, which was a special moment for him. That was one thing, just about the only thing missing from his CV. Tick that box.
Concerns looks there from John Higgins. He didn't want to hold a spot, but he has, so the black goes down onto the yellow spot. What a massive difference that makes. Well, it's the brown spot's available. That could make the black even harder to get back onto its spot. Just got a little bit too much stun in the cue ball last time round. No side on the cue ball to get the right side of the blue. So now instead of it being all simple little stuns and screws around the black, he's going to start making that cue ball run around the table. And if he could get the right side of the blue, he may play the cannon to the pink and try and bring it into play. Unless the red to the left of the pink goes into that left corner. All shots for the future. Start by getting the right side of the blue. Now we'll see what he's got in his mind. Hasn't got to be too gentle if he does decide to go into the pink. And again, he doesn't have to. He can keep scoring reds, taking the reds, going back down for the blue. Quite good enough to get the right side of the blue each time. But that was the attacking shot to play, bringing the pink into play, but it hasn't worked out. So Jack Jones should be coming back to the table.
John Higgins, 34.
Higgins a bit frustrated then that the break ended rather earlier than looked likely when he initially got in and was on the black, held the black spot. That's where things started to go awry for him.
Has left a red on, but it's dangerous to take it on. Same scenario applies. Similar type of shot. That red on the black cushion's no longer there though, so maybe worthwhile taking this one on. There's a red on the cushion before. Good pot.
1.
Well, the green gets him back to the reds. He can pot the black, but there's no red for it. He could just touch the black, and Higgins would be in deep trouble.
Black ball. Jack Jones 1.
Always more complicated, Joe, with a shot like this when you've got reds splayed open.
Yeah, the two reds near the black cushion should be the target. Just trying to work out a way to get to them. Shouldn't leave anything, as long as he gets the speed right. It's close. Well played. Yep, could be tempted by this red. Should be able to stun past the reds in taking this red on. Another good shot from Jack Jones.
1.
Needs to pull up though. Oh, keep running so he's on the black. Well, that's nicely played.
Yeah, sadly, there's no applause machine on table 2. Well, that was worthy of a hand from the imaginary audience. After the disappointment of the way in which he lost the first frame, an immediate response for Jones is so important.
Played another very good shot there. Great positional shot.
8.
He's knocked in some very good long balls.
Nine.
Trying to develop the red, stay on that red he's closest to, but it didn't work out. But again, a positive shot from Jack. He could have played for that
16.
lone loose red. The one that is nearly touching. But trying to develop those 3 reds and win the frame.
Jack Jones 16.
Playing it with deep screw made the shot a lot harder. Could have left the cue ball where the red was. Couldn't leave anything but the red he was playing on. It'd have been on the black.
Yeah, awkward table at the moment. Just 16 the difference.
One.
Barry Hawkins, meanwhile, has doubled his lead over Rob Milkins, who knocked Dave Gilbert out in the previous round, one of the 7 members of the top 16, not to make it to the round of 32. So Hawkins 2-0 up. Zhou Yulong 1-0 up on Changbing Yu, conqueror of Mark Allen. Judd Trump remains 1-0 up on Liang Wenbo. The second frame of that match has been a little bit prolonged. And this evening here on table 2 should be a cracking match between the reigning Masters champion Stuart Bingham, who's looking to complete the Triple Crown set by winning this tournament. 3 times a semi-finalist Bingham, up against former world champion Graham Dott. Aside from that really good run at the English Open, Jack Jones also accounted for Kyron Wilson to qualify for the latter stages of the German Masters. Big shot coming up here.
Yeah, and when he needed it, and he really did need it there, leaving everything. He's missed one. He's been pretty good with the long pots. Well, I'm saying it looks like he may have got away with it, which is incredible if he has. Well, it had to be made that, you know. That wasn't easy. But now, Higgins already with an 18-point lead. You've got to fancy him strongly.
Yeah, suddenly this frame has opened right up. All the reds available to Higgins.
8.
It was a horrible frame a moment or two ago. Reds were safe all over the place, but one or two shots, everything's opened up. .33 points the lead. Red colour red.
16. 17. 24.
So this red should be a 2-0 lead for John Higgins.
25.
2 snookers required. Could do with another colour. Because the balls are very nice for snookers. And Jack Jones may have played on. Don't think he will now, even if Higgins misses this red.
Yeah, Elliot Slessor played on when the cause was completely lost last night for quite a long time, Joe. I know you were commentating on his match with Sean Murphy, but he was vindicated, wasn't he? Because he won the next 6.
33.
Well, I'm not going to say we did it all the time in the good old days, but you would see top players playing on for snookers even when it was almost impossible. You know, needing 5, 6, 7 snookers. But that was just to disrupt the other player's rhythm. Now, it may or may not have worked, disrupting Sean Murphy's rhythm, but something happened because Sean wasn't the same player after that, and
40.
Elliot was totally settled even though he was a frame down. So I'm not going to say he shouldn't have done it, because I agree with it sometimes. You've got to get used to the feelings. Meanwhile, it's a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, John Higgins making the most of Jack Jones taking on the long red, missing it. Higgins managed to manufacture a plant and did the rest to double his lead. The 3-times champion leads by 2 frames to 0. The stats make pretty good reading for Higgins. 93% pot success is very good. And of course, he produced that trademark 72 clearance after Jack Jones' initial 63 in the opening frame. Some frames you feel are more significant than others. And when you win them in that fashion, particularly when it's against the player who, as underdog, is looking for a good start. It feels like it's worth more than the frame itself.
I agree, Philip. Yeah, he fully expected to win that frame, didn't he, Jack? It was actually stolen from him.
Grand larceny. And obviously no joy for Jones in frame 2 either in the end, so a couple of early blows for him. Higgins has won both of their previous meetings. Their first was the International Championship in China. That was 4 years ago now, 6-2. And I mentioned just a few weeks ago, Higgins got the better of Jones, who was appearing in his first ever ranking quarter-final, the English Open 5-1. But you've got to hand it to Jones. He's shown that he's a very resilient competitor. I mentioned that he's been off the tour 3 times, managed to get back on. Turned pro originally back in 2010. Rejoined the tour for the 3rd time 2 years ago, and as mentioned, he's got some seriously good scalps on his CV. Ding Junhui, Judd Trump and Kyron Wilson among them, so he is not a player to be taken lightly, and I think he's an improving player, but clearly he's got his work cut out today against one of the greats. Meanwhile, it looks like Judd Trump, after a bit of prevarication early in frame 2, has gone 2-0 up now on Liang Wenbo. That, of course, is a replay of the English Open final, the first one in Manchester back in 2016 when Liang won and did that famous jig around the auditorium when he clinched victory. And that, to date, is Liang's only ranking title. He rather went missing for a couple of seasons. Just a few signs more recently that his old form is coming back. He's a very exciting player when he's in full flow. He's a great potter. But, of course, he's up against the very best player in the world in Trump. So, John Higgins, 2-0 up. Very good start for the 3 times champion. Frame 3 of a possible 11.
Well, snooker, but I often say it, it's rather fortunate going in behind the green. The players always, without exception, play that cue ball to the baulk cushion. And the only reason it lands there is because you've caught it too thin, the pack of reds.
Foul. No miss. Jack Jones 6. 3 ball.
I think for a period in the wake of those 3 World Championship losses, and the third of which was an easier defeat, I think, for Higgins to take, because, as he admitted, Judd Trump just blew him off the table over 2 days. The other 2 tougher because he was well ahead of Selby and, of course, was very close to getting the better of Williams the year afterwards. But he did lose his zest for the game and his appetite for practice. Of course, he then decided to set up a unit, rented some space in Glasgow with Stephen Maguire and Anthony McGill, and I think that's just reignited his desire, sharpened up his practice regime, the fact that he's competing with other players rather than just practicing on his own at home and perhaps feeling a bit cabin feverish. It's definitely helped Higgins to get his mojo back. It's just a question now of adding a title. That would be sort of confirmation of his return to his very best. And to win a 4th UK title, well, that would be special. Still sits at 3rd in the all-time list of ranking event winners behind Henry and O'Sullivan with 30.
That's brought the black into play.
Keep quiet, please.
Well, there's something we didn't think we'd hear from the referee in the absence of the crowd. Obviously some noise from behind the scenes. Oh, that's a terrific pot from Jack Jones. I never thought I'd hear myself say this, Joe, but I can't wait for a referee to admonish someone for using their mobile phone again.
Yeah, be nice. Meanwhile, what a fantastic pot that was from Jack Jones, showing what he can do with that cue ball. And he timed it so well. Brilliant shot. Decided to go into them, play the positive shot, and it's worked out okay. Now it would help if the black spot's held, if he plays for the black. It would go on the pink spot, and that's free. It's a good chance, this. Best chance he's had since that first frame, when he made that 63 break.
Talking of having fans back, of course, we're hopeful that it might happen as soon as January in the Masters, which is set to go ahead in its home of Alexandra Palace, with plans to have up to 1,000 fans per session. I guess a week is a long time in COVID, and you can't take anything for granted, but that's certainly the plan, and everyone's got their fingers crossed that it'll come to pass.
Well, he's played a cannon there which released the black spot,
14.
but that hasn't done him any favours. Needs a little bit more work now.
15.
It's got the blue, and he'd like to get the pink back on its spot. That would make things easier.
Twenty. $21. $26.
We've talked about the potential damage between the ears of losing that first frame in the way in which he did, from 63 in front and effectively one pot away from making it 1-0. But I do think one of Jones'
27.
attributes is his temperament. He's pretty calm out there. And that's going to be necessary if he's to get back into this match.
$33. 34.
Well, that was a very tight gap he's looking at there. I think I might attempt to go into them there off the side cushion. Couldn't see how he wouldn't be on one. He went into them with speed. The only problem with playing for that red is that it was always difficult to get to the black.
40.
Risky shot to take on, but if it's touching the cushion, it's got half a chance. Well, it's not quite touching, but he might feel that it's on. No. And you can't blame him, he's got a 46-point lead.
Jack Jones 40.
Close.
Foul.
Better to miss it than hit it too thick.
John Higgins 4.
Unless, of course, leave a free ball.
This way. John.
Couldn't quite see them. He was trying to come off the black cushion with just a touch of right-hand side on the cue ball and catch the red thin. Doesn't want to get too much side on and catch it thick. That will do very nicely. Well played. Oh, Higgins got to be careful. He is looking to see how the reds are going to split. So if he hits it half ball, does he push one over the left corner? That alters his shot. He may have to play it ultra thin. Took the risk, and that's a good safety.
Needless to say, it's a huge frame for Jones. Having come so close to taking the first, was in contention in the second before missing the long red and leaving Higgins in. Once again, he's built a handy lead in this one, but he'll be very conscious of the fact that a lead isn't enough against Higgins. It's got to be an unassailable one.
found that out, hasn't he? Too much side on the cue ball. And that's why he made contact with the blue. Actually is ahead on the safety success, Jack Jones.
Yeah, that's a rarity, seeing Higgins down in the 60s in the safety stakes. But he's still 2-0 up.
The cannon didn't go according to plan, but maybe a chance to push the green safe. Awkward cueing, but he just has to hit it fairly fullish. May even push the brown safe at the same time. Caught it just a little bit too thin, but it's okay. Badly hampered.
It's been a solid enough start to the new season for Higgins. Lost in the semi-finals of the English Open to Trump, who's become something of a nemesis in recent times. Mind you, he's not alone there. And he has qualified, as Jones has, for the German Masters. The latter stages, that is, hopefully, as mentioned, at the Templedrum. At the moment, the remaining reds are awkward, but as we saw in the previous frame, that can change pretty quickly.
Yes, and that could be it. Caught it much too thick. In fact, he missed the ball, I think. The ball he was playing to hit.
One.
So he's in. And the balls are pretty good. Work to be done because the black doesn't go into either pocket if he does play for the black at some stage. The way that John Higgins thinks, I wouldn't be surprised. Played a little cannon here. And then tuck the red up away from that left side of the black spot.
Seven.
Black still doesn't go to either pocket if he plays for the black. And kind of ruins the table, actually.
8.
One-way traffic on the other table at the moment. Judd Trump now 3-0 up on Liang Wenbo.
Now, when he pots either of these two reds, at least the black does go then.
15.
Still 28 points behind. And work to be done. He didn't really get that green safe. Jack Jones, he didn't really catch it full enough. But he was awkward queuing, so you can forgive him for that. Now, he may decide to go into them with power here. If he plays it with top spin, it'll swing right into them. Probably catch the middle of those three reds. Perfect. Oh, how's your luck? He couldn't have split them any better. He couldn't have hit them any better, should I say, because they could have split nicer. It's a tough plant to take on.
Pretty risky too, you would have thought, because if he missed it, every chance he'd be leaving Jones in, who's already 20 in front. And he's having a good look at it. He's already made one in the previous frame, which was effectively a frame winner. This looks trickier.
Very much so, Philip. And he'll be thinking of where he can put the cue ball so he doesn't leave an easy red on. Mustn't leave that red on to the right of the black. Caught it much too thin.
Jack against 23.
All the matches ongoing in this afternoon session on around a 32 day have a lopsided look about them. Barry Hawkins 4-0 up now on Rob Milkins at the interval. Zhou Yulong 3-0 up on Chang Bingyu, who knocked Mark Allen out, of course, the Champion of Champions winner.
That's a good pot from Jack. Cue ball just run on that a little bit too far. And there's plenty of pressure on this blue. Sometimes the pockets can look like buckets when you're playing the balls into them. Other times when you really do need to pot the ball, they look like mouse's ears.
That's a new one on me.
Small.
Yeah, this has got to go.
Nicely played. Tried to make absolutely sure of it.
Six.
.26 points the lead. So needs these three reds that are out in the open. Cue ball's close. Oof, so close.
7.
But he can't get to the two easy reds. Unless he plays the green, which is a tough shot. That's as good as he could get, really. Nice angle on this red. Oh dear. It's okay. She can bring the monitor up.
Well,
She's going to bring up the screen.
could happen to anyone. Just slipped out of the glove. But as you say, no harm done, thanks to modern technology. Desislava, one of the best referees on the circuit. Very well established now. Being helped by Tatiana Williston.
Yeah, as you say, it can happen to anyone.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, actually.
Yeah,
Very slippy, aren't they, those gloves?
you sure?
Well, there's the still frame. Yeah, pretty close, I think.
I don't know why the white's not in the right place, because the white hasn't moved, has it?
Like really quick. Move it again. Move it again quick.
Yeah, we're very, very close. Yeah, you're right. The white is a peculiarity, isn't it?
Yeah, the white hasn't moved.
Bring it down.
Brenda Moore has joined the debate, I think.
Yeah, they've got the still frame there. I just don't understand why.
Well, yeah, but as you pointed out, maybe the still frame isn't right, given that the white's apparently moved on its own. It is important, this, because obviously Jones is going to need at least one of those reds.
Sorry.
32 in front. So, yeah, he's going to need one of them to leave Higgins needing snookers. I think, if anything, Higgins is suggesting that the red was in a more inviting position for Jones than it's currently in.
Up.
Yeah, so the lower red of the two would appear to need to move about a ball width higher.
Yeah.
Towards Bork, and then we're done.
Which makes it a little bit more difficult, actually.
Yeah, and I think actually John was suggesting it was a bit easier, so
yeah.
He's actually helping Jack out here.
Well, that only helps him out if he pots this red.
Okay.
Well, there is that. And that's not straightforward, but first things first.
Yes. Okay.
The bottom line is that Jack Jones is going to need two reds to make the frame safe.
What about like that? John?
I'm not sure the freeze frame we've seen is terribly reliable, but anyway, they're sorting it out gradually.
Yeah. Okay.
The most important thing is that everyone's agreed here,
Okay.
and I think we are. So on we go.
Now let's move that white a little bit closer. I think this is close enough to the cushion to count it as touching. So you just play to drop it in dead weight. If you try and play this at speed, it doesn't go in.
It's a big shot, isn't it, in the context of this match? Jones has already seen a couple of frames he might have won, slipped by. If he loses this one as well, he's really up against it. So big moments in this match. Key shot.
Nicely done. And a nice angle on the black to drop in just about 1.5 feet above the blue. Just needs one more red. And he's underhit it. This has turned into a tough cut.
20.
And if he misses it, he leaves the other red on.
None of the colours terribly safe. So another big shot. Frame ball. Well played.
Yeah, good shot. Nearly overcut it.
21.
2 snookers needed, so he can relax.
Yellow ball. Jack Jones 21.
So Higgins coming back to the table, needing 2 snookers and finding himself in one. Interval next door. Judd Trump leads Liang Wenbo 3-1.
That nearly worked out nicely. Well, that red's on the table. There's always a danger. It can be 12 points, that red. 4 for the snooker, 8 for the free ball. So, well worth playing on. This could be close. Just come out. Had that had been a full ball snooker, the yellow was in a really good spot. It could have been nasty. Well, had that brown not gone close to the cushion, it could have been curtains there.
Yeah, once again, Higgins is not the kind of player you want to be facing when snookers are required. He's such a fine tactician. Yeah, it's been a lengthy one. It's a vital one for Jack Jones, having lost the first two, which he might have won, particularly the first when he was 63 up and facing frame ball. To lose this one would be the last straw, I think. Still very much favourite at the moment. Higgins still needs 2 snookers. Oh dear, that's the last thing he needs.
And it's a free ball.
Yeah, with the yellow coming back up, Higgins can't see the red. Well, would you believe it?
3 ball.
You cannot afford to lose this frame. But it's in Higgins' hands now. 37 the lead.
Yellow ball.
So the yellow counting as an extra red if Higgins gets nicely on a colour here. Could just be the brown that might save Jones.
Just too hard for the blue. He's going to have to take the more difficult pink.
1. Seven. Eight.
Well, these are very uncomfortable moments for Jones. What a frame this would be to see slip by. Even more painful than the first two.
Yeah. The
14.
green and brown, not easy though. He needs
16.
it to keep running, and that's just where he doesn't want to be. Can't see him playing the brown now as a pot to get to the blue. So I think he'll just play the safety. Try and get that brown in behind the black. Well, not as intended, but he'll take it.
Joe Higgins, 19.
Full ball snooker by the looks of things.
Nicely hit, and he'll be pleased to see that pink go where it has. Well, that was a clever shot he was attempting there to bring the pink into play. Lots of left-hand side on the cue ball to create that angle. He wasn't far away. Well, disappointed with that one. I think the only saving grace here is that Jack will be bringing the black and pink into play, or could be. But now that he's got the pot, he can breathe easy again.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, to put it mildly.
Jack Jones 4.
But once again, Higgins needs a snooker, and with the black as it is, tall order. Doesn't want that in. Well,
5.
he's got to somehow move the black.
Yeah.
Not even Higgins, I think, can get himself out of this predicament, but you never know.
Well, what's his billiards like? Not with that shot, anyway. Now,
John Higgins,
right in
5.
or over that pocket, Jack.
A marathon frame, and barring something truly extraordinary, it is eventually going to go the way of Jack Jones. It's been pretty slow going this session. Jones absolutely had to win this frame after having Higgins needing 2 snookers. Of course, Higgins got the free ball, could have pinched it. And it would have been hard to see a way back for the underdog had he lost this one as well, but it looks as though he's won it, although Higgins is doing all he can. But this time he's left the pink, and Jones can finally put this frame to bed.
Jack Jones 6 in the frame.
So Jack Jones has a foothold. John Higgins tried for all he was worth to get the snookers. He did get them, but in the end, Jones fell over the line. And as half the deficit, Higgins leads 2-1. One more to come before the mid-session interval. So we're just waiting for Jack Jones to return to the auditorium. Perhaps a bathroom break was in order there after a 45-minute frame, and he'll be feeling a whole lot better having won it. He would have been feeling sick to the stomach had Higgins pinched that one. So the 3 times UK champion breaks off in frame 4 of a possible 11.
Swerving round the red, no, round the yellow to hit the reds, and he's caught them too thick.
One.
You can see a plant directly towards his left corner.
8.
Could have left it low on these 2 reds, and because it's guaranteed, then he could have opened more reds up. But it should still be on the other red, providing it doesn't come down and block him potting the black.
Nine.
And he's okay.
16. 17.
Similar scenario here. If he can leave himself slightly low on this next red to the right corner, he can open more reds up. That's what he's looking at there. I think it's too straight.
24. 25. 32. 33.
Very nicely cued from Higgins. I guess he'll feel a little bit disappointed having salvaged the 2 snookers he needed in the previous frame, that he couldn't quite rub salt into Jack Jones' wound, but A 3-1 interval advantage would do nicely enough.
38.
Yeah, but at this stage it could still be 2 each, and that would be a real feat for Jack Jones after losing that opening frame. It's within his grasp if he gets the chance. And he's going to get a chance.
John Higgins, 38.
Yeah, aside from the first frame, where we saw 2 big breaks, one from each player, there hasn't been a lot of rhythm about this match. It's been a bit stop-start. The balls have been awkward at times, and Higgins yet to find his A game.
One.
But as you say, Joe, what a result 2-all would be for Jones, given the way in which he lost the first frame, losing the second, which he might have won, very nearly losing the third. So to come out at 2-all if he can, well, he'd feel as though he was ahead.
Yeah, he would. Oh, but he's missed a simple pink.
Jack
And
Jones, 1.
there's no reason why he should miss that. But he's going to go to the interval thinking about it if Higgins punishes him now. It hurts. Choice of black or pink. I think the pink is blocking balls going into that left corner. But it's awkward cueing the pink, so he might take the black first. He can get to reds, can get to the red to the right middle, the right corner, even the left corner.
Eight. Nine.
Well, last loose red.
16.
And not easy to get into the reds from the pink. Just got to sit and hope he gets another chance. Pink's easy enough. And that's about as good as he could get to go into them. Unless there's a plant there somewhere that I can't see. Lots of screw and left-hand side on the cue ball. Well, he's hit them, but he's not on anything. He's got a red safe, which favours him.
23.
Might be able to push the pink safe here, in plain safe. Always thinking.
Against 23.
Okay, I'm out of position. I broke down. Now, how do I make it hard for my opponent? Well, another chance missed. Doesn't help.
Foul. No miss. John Higgins 4.
Still 75 on the table, but clearly Higgins hot favourite here to make it 3-1 at the interval as things stand. Inviting Jones to play again.
A little bit of luck. That could have been under frame. Well, unless the red goes to the middle, it's not too bad, but it was a chance.
Higgins, meanwhile, making the table as scruffy as he can in the event that Jones does get a chance to counter-attack. That 64-point lead feels bigger given the state of the table right now. Still 75 there, theoretically.
This table getting harder and harder. And one of these two reds will go to the left corner, but got to be careful. Doesn't want to catch it too thick. Going to the reds.
One.
So 65, the difference. The brown would be enough. $67, the difference.
Three.
I thought he would have took the brown there, didn't have to play position on the red. But with the table being like it is,
Well, it would be a minor miracle, wouldn't it?
John Higgins, 3.
Were Jones to get back into it from here, but you just never know in this game. Other scores, Barry Hawkins is 4-1 up now on Rob Milkins. Hawkins had taken the first 4. Zhou Yulong leads Chang Bingyu by 3 frames to 1, although Chang looks favourite to make it 3-2. Judd Trump still 3-1 up on Liang Wenbo. The equation then remains the same. Jones needs blacks with the remaining 5 reds and all the colours to tie as things stand.
oh, what a shot.
1.
What a frame-winning shot.
Yeah, that's one way to break the deadlock. Well, it's been pretty heavy weather this mini session.
It's been hard snooker, I agree, but it's been hard snooker from both players. You know, good safety. What can you do?
Yeah, tough match play snooker. A lot at stake. Right, place in the round of 16 up for grabs at the UK Championship.
And the title, of course.
So 3 snookers now needed for Jones.
Surely that puts it beyond all doubt.
1.
So Higgins surely 3-1 up at the interval. Indeed, Jack Jones concedes, and it's a case of what might have been for Jack, really. Should have won the first frame, misframe ball. Higgins produced one of his classic clearances to win on the black with 72, having been 63 adrift. Won the second, which was in the balance. Very nearly won the third as well after needing 2 snookers, getting a free ball. But in the end, it's Higgins who's taken 3 of the 4. He leads 3-1, and we'll be back with the live action in around about 15 minutes' time. Welcome back to Table 2, round of 32 day here at the Betway UK Championship, and so far so good for John Higgins. He's had to work hard for his 3-1 lead. It was quite a lengthy mini session, one frame lasting in excess of 45 minutes, but some tough old match play from both players. Jack Jones will be frustrated, I'm sure, given that he certainly should have won the first frame, could have won the second. Managed eventually to win the third when at one stage Higgins needed 2 snookers and got them, courtesy of a free ball. But then he missed an easy pink early in the fourth into the left corner pocket, and eventually Higgins did enough to get over the line. So 3-1 Higgins, he's halfway to a place in the last 16. Zhou Yulong or Chang Bingyu awaits the winner of this one.
So straight away, a long red to this right corner. It's a chance, and I think there is a gap there between the black and the red. Well, I don't think he would have made contact had he potted the red. But now the chance falls to Jack Jones. He missed that by a long way, to be fair.
Yeah, there hasn't been much rhythm or flow about this match, aside from the first frame, which was very clean. 2 big breaks, 63 from Jones, and then the 72 winning clearance from Higgins. That's been the exception to the rule, and when you haven't had any rhythm in your game, sometimes those longer pots can be a bit trickier.
He wasn't ideal on it, that's for sure, but he would have expected to get it. Probably thinking about the cannon and what's going to happen. Finished up on the red, not ideally, but on it. Now John could try and leave an angle on the black to go into that cluster. Or maybe the blue. Yeah, if he could land somewhere there for the red at the back of the pack there, he'd be able to open the reds up in potting that red and hopefully be on the black. It goes, as you can see.
Hit that well, didn't he? Bang on the apex of the pink.
Choice of 2 reds, but neither of them are easy. The one to the middle looks the easier one to come down for the blue. Perfectly played. So still choice of a couple of reds. Again, if it had finished low on this red to the right corner, he could have got into the reds and opened them up. But a little too straight to play that shot.
13.
So I feel sure he'll be going into them. Needs to catch them fairly full. Like that. Couldn't have split any better. That could be a frame winning shot. He'll be thinking so.
20.
Yes, a quick kill and the chance to really get that Q arm going would be just the ticket for Higgins.
21.
It's always going to be a tough match with Jones today. I mentioned earlier he's one of the more pedestrian players on the tour. Average shot time of around 30 seconds. And Higgins...
I'm surprised he played for that red.
28.
Yeah, I was going to say you'll be looking to keep plenty in the tank for the rounds ahead, assuming he comes through today. Now in his 46th year, of course, the Wizard of Wishaw.
No problem.
29.
In the same half of the draw as Mark Selby and Neil Robertson, who've both looked good this week. Judd Trump, world #1, is in the bottom half, along with the likes of Mark Williams and Graham Dott and Stuart Bingham. And that's our feature match this evening here on the Eurosport app.
$37.
Seen something on the white. Doesn't want any kicks at this stage of the game.
Chang Bing-Yu, who knocked Mark Allen out, has fought back to 3 each now against Zhou Yulong. The winner of that plays the winner of this match in the round of 16. Barry Hawkins is 5-2 up on Rob Milkins, so he needs just one more. And on table 1, Judd Trump is close as well, 5-1 up on an out of sorts Liang Wenbo.
Yeah, some of these players that have dropped out of the top 16, this is the ideal tournament to get back in there.
42.
Big prize money.
Particularly with the Masters in mind. This tournament, of course, is the cut-off. As things stand, Jack Lazowski is in the 16th and final qualifying spot. And, of course, he's still involved.
Let's have a look and see who's close to him. Anthony McGill, who's still in the tournament. Joe Perry. All of these players can get into the top 16 with a really good run in this tournament. And they're all capable of it, make no mistake. Graham Dott, great player.
50.
Zhou Yulong, of course, he's climbing the rankings. So big tournament this.
Yeah, £200,000 first prize is a real game changer when it comes to the ranking list, isn't it?
51.
Yes, and that's what makes Barry Hearn's ranking system so special, because it rewards people who are playing now. Not in 2 years, but now. It's a great system. .57 points the lead, still needs a couple of reds.
58.
Would be a quick kill this.
59.
Be the quickest game of the match so far. So just the red needed.
67.
Jack had first chance, missed the black off the spot. Wasn't straightforward, but he'd probably pop that 9 out of 10 in practice.
Yeah, not as easy as the pink he missed in the frame before the interval when he was in first into that pocket, but
73.
it's the kind of error you can't make against one of the greats, and Higgins doing what he
74.
usually does, punishing with something big. And now in a very commanding position, just 2 away. And a long way back for the world number 86 from Wales. The next frame becomes a must-win for him.
Eighty-one.
Bit of work to do to secure his 13th century of the season and the 805th of his career, second only to O'Sullivan in the all-time list.
John Higgins, 81. And the frame.
But no century. 81 will do, though. The best break of the day from John Higgins as he extends his lead to a commanding 4-1.
Frame 6. John Higgins to break.
So John Higgins, 2 frames away from the round of 16. Since he won his 3rd UK title 10 years ago, he's made the quarterfinals 3 times. Last season he missed out at the hands of Yan Bingtao. Yeah, terrific opening red. Higgins, you just feel, has
1.
moved up a gear or 2 since the interval. Perhaps mindful of the fact that he'd got a little bit bogged down. And, of course, at times that's unavoidable if the balls are awkward and the safety's good. But he's definitely stepped on the pedal. And the blue just about reaches the pocket.
Yeah, that was close, wasn't it? The last roll. But he was trying to hold for this red to the left corner. And had he hit it any harder, he's not on anything. So he had to play it at that pace. bravely done.
Seven. Twelve. 13.
Not quite straight enough on this black. So I might decide to go into them here. If he can hold for that red directly above the black, he will. And has.
$20. 21. 28. 29.
Couldn't have worked out any better. The attack in Higgins is back. And when he's on the attack, watch out. It's such a good shot to play, you know, that shot where you
36.
pot a red and open the reds up, finish on the black.
37.
Lost the cue ball a little. Well, that hasn't worked out.
44.
Yes, Higgins very much in charge now, and he's definitely stepped on the pedal since the mid-session interval. The first quartet of frames was quite heavy weather at times. Higgins took the first in trademark fashion. Jones was in on a break of 63. Mr. Red on the cusp of clinching the frame, and Higgins made a 72 clearance to pinch it. We had a 45-minute frame where Desislava Bosilova inadvertently saw the blue slip out of her hand and dislodge a red, so there was a bit of delay then to get the reds back into position. Jones won that frame, but Higgins managed to take the frame before the interval after Jones missed a very straightforward pink early in the piece into the left corner pocket, and Higgins has just produced a really nice break of 81. And he was going nicely on 44 before just running out of position there, so a healthy advantage as he looks to go 4 up with 5 to play. This is their third meeting, and their second was very recent, of course. It was the English Open, where Jones was appearing in his first ever ranking quarter-final. Higgins winning comfortably 5-1. Their other meeting back in 2016 at the International Championship. Higgins also an emphatic 6-2 winner on that occasion. But Jones, a very resilient player and an improving player, 3 times he's fallen off the tour since he first turned pro. 3 times he's got back on, and he has got some notable scalps on his CV. And he's also got a pretty good long game, as that red proves.
Yeah, he's potted some great balls, you know, Jack Jones today. He really has, and deserved to be on the black from that red, but unfortunately, it's only going to be one point. Brilliant pot. He's got to just tickle up. Oh, he's missed the snooker. Left an easy safety for John Higgins.
He's actually playing his shots on average today at 33 seconds apiece, which is pretty pedestrian and actually slower than he would normally be. And you just got the sense that Higgins has tried to up the pace since the interval. Get those reds open, put the pressure on his opponent.
Yep, and a couple of reds safe as well. Makes the clearance just that little bit more difficult. He's just had a sign of desperation about it, that shot. I know he probably feels he's got to change something, attack. But if you do that, you've got to be half convinced that you're going to get the shot. And he wasn't really close enough for me to think that he did got it wholeheartedly. And that could be his last shot in this frame.
The winner will play either Zhou Yulong or Chang Bingyu, who of course knocked out Mark Allen, one of the 7 members of the top 16 to have fallen ahead of this round of 32. Zhou was 3-0 up, but Chang has come back to level at 3-all. Oh, my goodness me.
Well, he must have got a kick there, because he wouldn't have cannoned the yellow, surely full ball. Something must have happened there.
Something did happen. Quite a lot happened.
He missed.
Yeah, Chang made a 139 on his way to parity. So that match is right back in the balance.
Again, another very attacking shot there from Jack Jones, as he left a red to the left corner. The one to the middle looks easy on TV, but it isn't.
Yeah, that was certainly way trickier than the blue he missed just then, but once again, you'd have expected Higgins to get it, and if he had, he might have been looking at 5-1 as it is. Still bags of points there for Jones. Higgins, of course, is a 3-time champion in this event. First won it back in 1998, the year he won his first world title and became world #1. Matthew Stevens, his victim, and 2 victories over Mark Williams in his other 2 triumphs. The second of which, as he strokes that red in beautifully, was the most dramatic. He was 4 down, if you recall, with 5 to play, and then at 2 down with 3 to play, needed a snooker against Williams, got it, and won the decider. That was a decade ago, and a decade after his second win, so the omens feel quite symmetrical for Higgins.
He's still doing it as well, isn't he, Philip? You know, 45. Is he 45?
Yep.
And still doing it. Still getting them clearances. I mean, in the very first frame today, Jack Johns made a brilliant 63 and missed a red. He thought he could pot it through the reds, but turns out he hit the wrong red. And Higgins steps in with a 72 clearance, as calm as anything.
And the thing about it was that there was an air of inevitability about the fact that he'd do it.
Yeah. In fact, you said, didn't you? You said, you know, he's going to do it. He always does.
17.
And Jack Jones' face told you that he thought he was going to do it too.
Yeah.
He's done it so often before. We've talked about this already this week. World Snooker running a recent poll asking which player you would choose out of all that have ever
23.
lifted a cue to play one frame for your life. I'm not sure who won that poll, but I know who I'd choose, and it'll be
24.
the man at the table. He has produced some incredible clearances from way behind under pressure in the very biggest events so many times. This frame is well and truly won. Just 51 left, so Higgins now on the cusp
30.
of the last 16. Since he won the title, he's been in 3 UK quarterfinals, including last year when he lost to Yan Bingtao. It doesn't look as though he's going to lose this afternoon, though, as he moves to within 1 of victory. John Higgins leading 5-1. Welcome back. Round of 32 day here at the Betway UK Championship, and 3 times champion John Higgins looking good to make it to the round of 16. He's found an extra gear since the mid-session interval. The first 4 frames were very competitive and it was tough old match play for a lot of the time. But Higgins has emerged since that 15-minute break with an extra spring in his step. He's really gone on the attack and it's paid off. He's won the next 2 and now stands on the cusp of the next round. 5-1 up. I think Jack Jones will look back on that first frame as
Jack Jones break.
being very significant. It's a bit odd to talk about a turning point in the first frame of a best of 11, but had he won that, and he was cueing so well, as Joe mentioned, before he missed the all-important frame ball, this match might have taken on a different complexion. As it is, well, you'd think a nigh-on unassailable task ahead of him. Higgins, as Desislava declares touching ball, has been very consistent over the past 12 months or so. Joined forces with Stephen Maguire to win the World Cup last season, was runner-up to Maguire in the 6 Reds World Championship, a couple of ranking semi-finals as well. but no ranking title since the 2018 Welsh Open, so he'll certainly feel another big one is overdue.
Never write John Higgins off. That's almost a given. 3 World Finals in the last 4 years.
Yes, and clearly that would have taken its toll, the fact that he came so close to adding to his tally of 4 world crowns without quite getting over the line in 2 of them. Obviously, Judd Trump's win was an emphatic one, as he acknowledged afterwards, but all of the noises that Higgins has been making of late have been very positive ones. We've heard about the fact that he's using a new ferrule on his cue, titanium, which he feels has improved his game. Practices regularly in that rented space up in Glasgow with Stephen Maguire and Anthony McGill, which he feels has just injected a new urgency to his regime. So it's all good for Higgins. He won't be thrilled with that one. Jones's best break of the match remains that first frame 63, which of course wasn't quite enough to win it.
One.
He needs to be straight on this red to the right corner to be able to get to the black.
6.
Not the best angle. Having to go through 2 cushions.
7.
Now, I think he's got to be really aggressive here. Go into the reds and play it with a bit of pace. Screw on the ball and he should finish up on the red to the left of the black. Oh, he's played it well. Excellent shot. Didn't hold back there. And now, you know, he's got a really good chance here.
14.
Yeah, as mentioned, he's not a quick player by any means, but he is a positive one. His shot choices tend to be on the aggressive side.
15.
Of course, he got a bye in the first round in this tournament, with Ryan Day sadly having to withdraw after returning a positive COVID test, and then beat Simon Lichtenberg comfortably. Higgins was always going to be a big step up, though, and it's proved to be the case, but
22.
he's still fighting.
23. Thirty. 31.
That run to the English Open quarterfinals this season was a really impressive one. He beat the likes of Elliot Slesser. We know how well he's
36.
playing at the moment. Jack Lazowski, Matthew Stevens, who's been rejuvenated of late
37.
before Higgins proved a bridge too far. He's also beaten the likes of Ding Junhui and Judd Trump. So he's got some eye-catching names on his CV. Not Kyron Wilson out of the German Masters.
Again, he's just a little short of pace there. I think he played for the red that he's playing. Maybe you can give the reds a little nudge. Just a little nudge. Or maybe he's pushed two reds on there.
$49.
Wrong side of the blue. He played that shot earlier in the match and played it well, and he couldn't have played that one any better. Lots of right-hand side on the cue ball to finish
55.
perfectly onto this red. That was a very good shot he played.
56.
A confidence-building shot, I think. Another red and a black after this,
Keep
or a
quiet,
red and a
please.
pink, and he should be okay.
That's the second time today that Desislava has called for quiet, which is a little surreal, given the absence of an audience. So obviously a bit of backstage noise. We were saying, weren't we, Joe, that we're counting the days, the time that we can tell someone off for using a mobile phone during play again.
Yeah, we'd love to wear a mobile, wouldn't we? Yeah.
Crazy world.
So another red and a big colour.
Yeah, and Jones will be taking nothing for granted here, given what happened in frame one.
62.
Needs to be careful to get the job done here and make sure Higgins remains in his chair. Because that table looks tailor-made for John Higgins if there's any error here.
Good pot. There was pressure on that,
63.
so just needs the black. Nothing fancy. Just pot it, play the red to the middle. Just as good.
70.
Now, needs another red just to make sure. Higgins is dangerous on one snooker. Already got two snookers in one of the earlier frames.
$71.
Now, every chance of a century. He's made three this season.
78. 79.
I also think maybe if he just speeded up a bit, like he is doing now, the frame's won, I think it
87.
might just instill some confidence in him. Like, you know, you're going to get every shot rather than, I've got to make absolutely sure, absolutely sure. Takes a lot of energy to play like that for 3, 4, 5 hours.
94. 95.
Get a rhythm and stick with it. This black for a century then. Well played.
Yeah, very nicely done.
We'll say it, Phil, even though
102.
the clap machine's gone to sleep.
Yeah, for some reason, table 2 doesn't have one, it seems. Which seems a bit harsh, really.
103.
He has taken these exceptionally well, though. He is a good cueist, there's no question about that. It feels, in the context of the match, a bit too late, but just a reminder that he is a very capable player and I think an improving player.
£109.
He's already bagged £12,000 for getting this far, and that's big money when you're down in the lower reaches of the rankings looking to stay on the tour. He's currently at 86 in the world.
Jack Jones, 109. And the frame.
Yes, well played, Jack Jones. That was an excellent century, the first of the match, but John Higgins is still very much in the box seat, leading as he is, 5-2. Well, we've just witnessed the 100th century of the tournament, which is testament to the high standards being set at this UK Championship, which is no surprise at all. The players will be looking to raise their game at a tournament of this magnitude. Of course, we've had plenty of upsets. 7 top 16 names bowing out, including the defending champion Ding and the reigning world champion O'Sullivan. But 3 times champion John Higgins still very much alive and kicking. And although Jones has just made that excellent 109, the highest break of the match, it's Higgins who's still 3 up with 4 to play. Higgins' best break of the day, 81, to go with the 72 clearance in the first frame, which has proved to be quite telling, I think, because it was a hammer blow for Jones to lose the frame that he looked certain to win, having made 63 himself, and rather set the tone for the afternoon.
Chance for Higgins.
1.
Again, if he can leave himself low on this red, he'll be able to pot the red and open a pack of reds. And that looks just about right. Now, does he play it with topspin or screw? The choice is his. There's no correct way to play it. Looks like screw. Yes, perfectly played. Absolutely perfectly played. And that's the importance of that shot. When you've got that red at the back of the pack, Ronnie O'Sullivan absolutely loves that shot. Started playing it quite a while ago, but I would have thought a lot of players would have picked up on it, but they don't seem to. Higgins did there.
Meanwhile, we have another winner this afternoon, and Barry Hawkins is slipping quietly through the draw, as he often does, without too much fanfare. He's beaten Rob Milkins 6-3. Next up for Hawkins, either Mark Selby or Hossein Vafai in the top half of the draw. Chan Bing-yu is on a roll. He was 3-0 down to Zhou Yulong. He's now leading 4-3, and he's at the table on a break of 37. The winner of that to play the winner of this.
Seventeen.
It's a bit early to be saying 3
24.
reds, 3 blacks.
But you did anyway.
But when you see the balls like that, and you look at a player like John Higgins, you can't help but think maximums. Got a couple of awkward reds. And first things first, of course, you've got to win the frame.
Yeah, frame and match is the
25.
primary goal. Of course, Higgins has already had one this season in the Championship League. The 11th of his career. And his 10th, of course, was extra special because it was the first he'd made at the World Championship. That was another box ticked.
Well, he could get to the black if he wanted to, but, you know, he wants to win the frame and match, as Philip said. So may play for the pink.
$33.
Winning is all that counts. Can almost see the plan formulating in his mind. It's easy enough to play for the red to the left corner, but he wants to know where the next red's coming from after that. Well, having said that, I mean, I expected him to stop the cue ball more or less dead, and he's let it run through, and this is now awkward with the rest. That was a really poor positional shot from Higgins. He's made this a lot more difficult than it should have been.
40.
Nicely done on the pink or black. He's got 3 reds all lined up to go into the right corner. Well, would you believe it? And maybe he's just thinking about the winning line, because 2 shots previously when he potted the pink and the cue ball went through and it shouldn't have done, and then missing a simple pink, it's very unlike Higgins. But an unexpected chance for Jack. One you feel he's got to take. Just make
1.
4 times world champion, just think about it.
Uncharacteristic for sure. Higgins normally,
8.
as all the great players are, so clinical in sight of the winning line.
9. $16.
Awkward. Difficult to the middle, difficult to get back to the black. The red not too difficult. He was thinking about playing the red to the green pocket. He potted one like this earlier. And he got so close to that one.
Jack draws 16.
Well, this red will pot either to the middle or maybe the green pocket. Yep, there it is. Good pot. And where's the cue ball?
1.
Not the best. Can't get into the reds from there. Not without going in and out of balk.
Meanwhile, Chang Bing-Yu has just won his 5th frame on the spin against Zhou Yulong. So from 3-0 behind, the Chinese teenager has won 5 frames in a row for a 5-3 advantage. And of course, if he wins one more, he'll play the winner of this match.
So the path just between the yellow and brown. Oh, just caught the yellow. Otherwise, well, wait for it. Otherwise it would have been on a red.
8. Jack against 8.
So 32, Higgins lead. Still 75 available.
is safe, just above the middle. Just wonder if he can have a go at this red to the green pocket. Just looking to see what he'd leave if he played that shot. Doesn't look as though he'd leave anything, and if it goes in, it's another chance. Difficult pot, for sure. Oh, what a shot again.
One.
Brilliant shot. That would have brought the house down for sure.
And it didn't touch the sides, did it? Great bit of cueing.
He's not hard enough. Played for the red to the left, the right centre.
8.
So the lead now 40 for Higgins with 67 left. A couple more reds are going to be needed with colours.
Jack Higgins 8.
Oh, that's the worst possible kiss he could have had. He's pushed the yellow safe and he's left the red on.
Slumps back in his chair, very frustrated with that one. Even more so now.
1.
He's fought very well, you know, today, Jack Jones. Just the odd ball here and there. He's competed in every department, really. The safety he's been very good with. Both of those reds go to this corner. Can he get there? Needs to go past them. Oh, he didn't want to catch them. If it goes past, he's won.
8.
As it is, he's going to have to wait a little longer.
Yes, just a red and a colour now needed for Higgins. Not quite able to kill it off there.
8.
And that little rub on the blue could mean disaster.
.48 Higgins lead, so he's going to need a colour off this red to make the match safe.
One.
Well, the black must go. It didn't look like it from this angle, but it must go. And he's fought well, Jack Jones, but it looks like it's going to be Higgins. Goes through to the next round. It's been a hard-fought battle, this for Higgins. Make no mistake.
Yeah, it really has. But he noticeably picked up the pace
9.
after the interval, having led 3-1 at that stage. He played with a little bit more aggression, put the pressure on Jones, got the Reds open, and although Jones made that excellent century, it was always likely to be too little too late. He'll certainly look back on the first frame, which really did set the pattern of the day. He's had chances in frames that have
14.
slipped by,
Frame at
none
match.
more so than the opener when he led by 63, and Higgins stole in typical fashion with 72. And he's gone on to win pretty comfortably in the end. John Higgins through to the round of 16 here at the UK Championship.